Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the iRacing Today radio show for November the 6th, 2014. I'm your host, Trevor. I'm being all blurry and looking like I have really crappy internet there, even though I'm in my house base. It's like a home base, but it's like in your house. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am, of course, your host, as always, Trevor. And I have up here my co-host, as always, Chad, the incredibly large head that you will see in the lower right-hand corner of your screen if you were watching on video. Hello, large head. How are you doing?
Could you clarify if your name was Trevor or not?
I did. It's Trevor. I'm the host.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And your head is huge.
I'm Big Head Chad.
It's got its own orbit. It's got moons.
I'm Chad Face. It's like Dale Face that NASCAR chasm guy is always playing with.
Dale Face?
Yeah, Dale Face. You've never seen Dale Face? And there's Carl Face, too.
I don't think I have.
It's like huge blow-up heads of race car drivers. It's pretty cool.
And does he make them fight? Now fight!
Nope.
Bang, 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 bang. No? No.
Harvicking! Hashtag.
Hashtag Harvicking. Ah, yes. My father called me up after that race, and he said, he says, haha, Harvicking, whatever, and then, as if to, and then he didn't expect me to know what it was, or at least, he says, Harvicking, he figured he beat me to it. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, I saw that, that trending on Twitter there. It's like, I actually responded to it and sent a picture. I actually posted a picture of a polar bear pushing another polar bear into the water, and it's like, I kind of expected you to maybe know what it was, not be actually participating in it. I'm so ashamed. What is wrong? That's what's wrong with the world today. It's like, I don't know, you brought it up, man. I thought it was funny. It's Harvicking. It's like, hey, you know what? It's like, you look like a man who needs to fight his own battles. Go. And I mean, man, like, it was so funny watching the video there, and like, I watched it, well, not live, but on DVR, like as it happened, in tape delay land, and I noticed it all happened, and then all of a sudden it's like, here's this other angle. It's like, and there's Kevin just standing there with his arms folded, right behind the car, doing nothing.
Watching. Just watching.
And all of a sudden, burnt.
And then fight your own battles.
Brad's sitting there fixing his hat. All right, well, I guess this is done. I'm going to walk away now. Gadonk. Nope. But I don't remember the last time I saw an interview and post-race interview where like two drivers had like blood on their face. It's like, well, they wanted the chase to make things more exciting and emotions. They did that.
Probably my favorite line of everything was Harvick when he said, "Oh, the 2 is in bulldoze mode." I was like, wow.
My favorite part was when Jeff Gordon on live TV called Keselowski a dip bleep. And I'd be around, it's like, did he just say? Yep, he just did. and they never even acknowledge it. They didn't say, wow, because normally when they, the guy's too slow on the sensor button.
Apologize for that.
Yeah, I apologize for language. Racing big emotions and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they just, I guess I'm the only one who heard that then. Because that totally happened. It's like, Gordon, you can't do that. That's no.
He said naughty word.
You can't do that. Anyway.
Short show tonight.
Yep. Because
and it's not going to be one of those famous things either.
Yep. Not much happened this week, but the choice is we don't put on a show and we say, you know what, there's not much to talk about. We don't put on a show, or we just sit down for a short period of time and say, hey, you know what, how you guys doing? We just want to, get out there and, say, hey, we love you guys. You guys are awesome.
That down here. There we go. That should come up on the screen.
I don't know. You have a giant head. Now you have giant fingers.
Get the peace sign out, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So please tell the people what we're doing.
Well, this week, And of course, we appreciate everybody joining us here this evening, and thank you for that. This week, we are going to be talking about Chad's latest experiences. He had his penultimate, I think that's the word, race in the chase over at the RCRL. So he's going to talk about that. I didn't get to do any racing, so I'm not going to talk about that. And we're going to, yeah, that's about it, isn't it? We're also going to talk about the super late model in our car of the week. And we're going to talk about, give you guys some details, or at least semi-details, on a stream that Chad and I are going to be doing this weekend for your entertainment. That has nothing to do with auto racing. And we'll also update you on our quest for the endurance race that's coming up on Saturday that we're all going to stream for you guys. We're going to talk to you about how that's going as well.
Oh, great.
Why don't we just start with that and get that out of the way?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
We're not going to be racing. We're not going to be racing this Saturday.
Andy is the worst teammate ever. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we knew going in what the rules were. We just didn't know if we were. I mean, we're kind of celebrities, so we figured, you know what, they'll let us in anyway because you know what. But unfortunately, they have a iRating minimum in order to make that race, and they're going to use one of the new tools they added in 3-4 builds ago, I think it was now, where you can actually set up hosted sessions where they, you must be this tall to get on this ride.
All right.
And unfortunately, none of the four of us are tall enough to get on that ride, so our team is.
I'm the closest one, and I'm still way short.
And you're not even close. I think it was 19. Was that right?
Yeah, I think it's 1900, and my iRating is like 1225.
See, that's
and everybody
close.
else is like in the 3-digit column.
Yeah, I'm not even half of the required iRating. So
The only reason why I'm close is because I think I only have like 120 road starts. Otherwise, I'd probably be a little bit lower.
let's see. If you were to double my iRating, you would still only just get above 1500. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think there's a safety rating requirement as well, which I don't think I meet either.
Yeah. I think it was you had to be class C.
I got that. I'm an A. I'm an expert.
Yeah, but I think I remember Andy saying that he was trying to get his license up to like class C or class B or something.
Oh.
I don't, but that was like way before. That was like a month ago. But I just kind of remember that. But yeah, so it was
Yeah.
great. I'm glad we got to do that. That was a
Oh, yeah.
blast.
Yeah,
I spent 35 minutes painting up a paint scheme that is going to be in perfect condition.
Yeah, because it's not scratched up or nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
So I spent a good 45 minutes practicing laps around Road America in the McLaren just to get ready. So that's 45 minutes. I mean, never get that back. I mean, yeah. Maybe it was probably closer to 30 minutes knowing me, but anyway. So
Yeah, I was going to say, shouldn't it be like 10 minutes?
no, it was more than that. I wanted to make sure, it was at least a half hour. So
Okay. Well, I'm proud of you. Way to go, bro. Way to practice for a race that you can't race in.
cool story, bro. So we wish everybody who's racing over in that endurance league the best of luck. We hold no hard feelings. That is, the rules were the rules. We knew the rules. We just thought, hey, maybe we can get around the rules. We can't get around the rules, because it's not being enforced by a human. It's being enforced by.
Not being endorsed. I like that better.
Well, it's not being endorsed. I mean, I do not endorse these rules because they don't include me, and I don't like not being included in things. So.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're not going to be doing that, but I'm sure we'll find somebody
There'll be
who's
more.
willing to take us on, because we've got to do our big old stream idea, especially with me, you, and Andy. At the very least, I mean, Larry's going to be joining us, but he's not streaming, so I meant us specifically to have people to stream, so we can have a full length amount of time of streaming and things.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of streaming. Here's some way out there news, and that is I mentioned about the Child's Play thing there a couple weeks back, which was very successful. A lot of money was raised for children in need in hospitals and whatnot, which was great. and they actually have it set up. Like they have a time when they do it specifically, and a lot of people join in. But anytime during the year, people can use their site to set up donations and whatnot in order to do participate in their own little mini streams and mini fundraising type things. And as it turns out, sometime in July, the I'll end up in the house for a couple days by myself. No kids, no wife, because we're doing some traveling and whatnot. So if I can arrange it, I'm going to do a 24-hour gaming stream when that happens, because it's the only time I'll ever get a chance to do it. So way out there plans, but it's in my radar. Something I'm going to attempt to do because, like I said, I never get multiple days without any responsibilities in my house. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen then. So I'll keep you guys informed between now and July. You know, over the next 8 months, you know, I'll keep you guys on the bubble of what's going to happen, like on the cutting edge. Bubble's probably not the right word. Chad's so excited it makes his ear itch.
Yeah, it makes my ear itch.
Like, yeah.
Woo! July. I'm actually really excited for July because that means it won't be freezing cold.
True.
Okay. That's my outburst.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah.
I'm calm now.
So anyway, so that was our plans for what we're not going to be doing on Saturday. And another thing that I forget we're going to mention about is it's season 4, a abbreviated season in iRacing. So we'll let you guys know where our plans are, such as they are for this upcoming season as well. So we're not going to be doing that endurance race. We'll be doing some endurance race, even if we have to make an endurance race. We're going to do this. I mean, we've tested the team stuff.
We race ourselves in an endurance race.
There's the endurance. We're going to just race. Like, no time limit. Just race until somebody falls over. Like, you know, like they had those dance contests in the 60s, you know.
You should come because Hensley Motorsports, now we've been friends with Hensley's. Hensley's. Yeah, because there's more than one.
Yeah.
We've been friends with John and and Tim and Terry, and I think that's the only people on their team. So there's 3 of them. They want to do the 24 hours to Daytona. So they've already extended an invitation to me. I've already vocally agreed to that.
Vocally agreed? I don't think that's the term you're looking for. I think that verbally agreed is what you're going for there, yeah.
But vocally sounded cooler. So you need to come and join us.
24 hours of Daytona. That's
because see, right now, if it's just the 4 of us, me, Tim, John, and Terry, and you do 24 hours with 4 people, that's a lot of freaking racing.
It is.
So if you bring in 5 people, that subtracts it a little bit. And I think you can have up to 6 people. So if you, well, depending on what iRacing does for that series, but I'm imagining that when they do that race, it'll be 6 people. So then we could find somebody else, you know. And the problem is that you can't wreck the car because it's Hensley's car.
I was gonna say, especially
and he'll make you pay for it.
We'll get to work on lessening the time after I wreck the car, because the first time I get in there, it's like, all right, we're done. See, woo, a few hours in, that's it. That's all you got to do. Go back to bed, boys.
You go first.
Back to bed, boys.
Don't even bother getting up. Just turn that alarm clock off. But season 4, let's just go ahead and knock this out. So Trevor and I are kind of thinking in the same lines on what we're going to do for season 4. And for me, because there's, at least where I live, a lot more holidays at this time of the year, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and various things like that. A lot of my time is spent away from just video gaming in general. But it's funny because I also play a lot more video games because I have a lot of days off from work. But my racing is going to, I guess, take a bit of a hit over the next month and a half. So I figured, since season 4 is only 6 weeks anyways, and since the RCRL won't be doing anything, some of the more, I guess, quote-unquote official series that I would want to participate in aren't going to be doing anything. I figured that I would kind of treat season 4 as half of taking a season off. So I'm still going to race, but not near as much as I do normally. And then when I am racing, I'm pretty much just gonna jump on and kind of do whatever seems like something cool to do. And if if it's worthy of streaming, which most likely it will be, then I'll stream it and post it on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of be random. Just jump on, see a rough cup race, might jump in that. If a late model race is at a track I like, might jump in that. Just various things. I don't even know. I'm just throwing out examples, but I figured that'd be a good schedule because I don't have to commit per se to anything. I originally wanted to commit to the Silver Crown and the Corvette, but those series seem to be struggling with car counts, at least when I want them to go official.
Hmm.
But even still, they're struggling. I mean, it's not just one I've signed on to race, and so I don't want to commit to those things knowing that I may not be able to participate, um, when I have the time to do it. So I figured if I just release all commitments and just jump on and do whatever I want whenever I want, that'll be a good way to treat season four.
Yeah, and that's basically my idea as well, with the reasoning on my behalf being the fact that over the next 4 weeks, like starting next week, I'm going to be out of town for 3 of them. So that obviously limits the amount of time that I have to do any racing. So yeah, it's just gonna be a haphazard. Let's do what I can when I can. After that stint of 3 of 4, my travel is going to lessen, especially going to the holidays. But it's not going to be nearly as stringent, at least as of right now, going into the new year. So my plan is to hopefully, starting season 1 of next year, which technically starts this year, but anyway, you get the idea. Maybe commit to something then, because I won't be on the road as often, so I'll have a chance to actually, sit down and enjoy some time doing stuff like that. So that is my basic plan. I mean, out of the cars, I mean, I want to do some late model stuff when they're not racing tracks I hate, and maybe the sprint car or the Silver Crown. Like, even if, like you said, the participation might not be the greatest, but I mean, I want to at least try to, those cars now that they've been updated to the new tire model. And then, probably McLaren at, if it's a track that I happen to be decent at, or at least know the layout of, which I don't even know where they're at this season, but yeah, well.
My ultimate goal is to race the Formula One car one day. Now, when I say that, doesn't mean I'm going to be good, because I won't be. But
I want to not die.
I want to race it, so I might this season kind of jump in and spontaneously practice it, and if I felt comfortable enough, do a race. But yeah, I want to drive that car one day so bad, like in the official stuff, not just to. I've already driven it, obviously, but just to race it on a consistent basis. So
Well, I mean, you should pick up F1 2014. It's a game where you get to play, race those cars. It's not simulation per se, but
I don't want to do that. I want to play iRacing.
do iRacing, man.
That's why I paid $11.95 for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't actually picked up the latest car, the camaraderie,
Whole V8.
the Commodore, the Commodore.
You went from Camaraderie to Camaro to Commodore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fun car.
The Commodore
It really
64.
is.
I have not picked it up yet.
It's a fun little machine.
Hmm.
That's another series that I would like to race in too, is the V8 series. That's a car that I shouldn't be that around because that's what I like to do.
Is that what you like to do? Because you just went into total robot mode and you went, because that's what I like to do. Like, all right then, because that's how I roll, like a robot.
Yeah. Well, that's why we still do the podcast form, which allows us to have not robot voice.
True. Which allows us to have our special super secret audio recording techniques allow us to appear to be in the same room. The video, however, is what it is.
Not so much. So, Is that all you got to say about season four?
That's about it, really. I mean, it's like I said, I'm not going to be in house enough to really commit to anything serious. So, which is too bad because it's one of those things where it's reduced, so it'd be easier to get the credits. It'd be easier to race for championships, that sort of thing. But not in the cards. So it's just going to be, you know what? Get out, have fun. That's but the only thing that I'm going to is my only criteria is just whatever seems fun. I'll just do that.
Good plan.
It is. So, speaking of having fun, was Phoenix any fun?
Nah, horrible.
All right, then. You're racing in the day, and you were racing on the you can cut the dog leg version, because you weren't sure about that when we talked last.
Yes.
So,
And I found out, and we could definitely do that. Which I figured that was what it would be, because the way the RCRL does it is they follow pretty much everything pretty much to the way NASCAR does it. In my mind, I was thinking, okay, it's got to be a day race, and I'm guaranteeing in my mind it's going to be to cut the dog leg and all that. But let's just check. I qualified sixth, which I was kind of impressed with because, as I mentioned last week, I had never turned a lap in the Cup car at the new Phoenix,
right.
and it is so much different than the old Phoenix. I've already known that, and I've already kind of been like, oh yeah, this is totally different. It's got more banking, the dog leg is different and all that, and I knew that in my mind. But once I got out on the track and started, trying hard to run some laps, I was like, man, I'm driving this totally different. And I even had to change my little, I forget what you call it, but the little knob on my brake pedal that changes and it's on the tip of my tongue.
Brake bias?
No.
Oh.
I'll think of it before we finish talking.
Wait, no?
No, it's not brake bias.
The little knob, little knob to do with your brakes, and it's not brake bias.
It's
like you're sitting there saying, I had this sauce once. It was kind of sweet, but it was also sort of sour. Sweet and sour sauce? No.
But anyways, so that helped a lot because it helped with the adjustment of how hard or soft I had to hit the brakes. Now, for some reason, the weather and the setup made for a very slick racetrack. And I actually threw up the tweet afterwards, and I was not being funny, even though I was, that I finished, and I'll tell you where I finished in a minute, but I finished in blank position at the ice rink tonight because it was pretty wicked loose. But that was fun, but there is a certain point where being loose and on the edge of out of control is not fun because then it just becomes survival almost.
But loose and on the edge of control, that's where Chad lives, man. That's Chad Town.
Yeah, but see, and I knew actually that you were going to say that, but the difference is that, like, if that was that way at Kansas, it's easier to be that loose at Kansas because you've got banking to kind of hold the car. Whereas at Phoenix, it's a flat track for the most part, and you've got to have that forward bite on the exit, kind of like you do at Martinsville, and it makes it really hard when you're that loose. So, while I do like really loose setups, on a flat track, I would prefer that in the center of the turn and not on the exit of the turn. And this setup was really loose on the exit of the turn. It was more so in turn 4 compared to 2. But yeah, both turns it was pretty loose. It was, I think I even said, like, at some point during the stream, I'm driving so carefully. Like, I was barely turning the steering wheel. I was barely on the throttle. I was barely on the brakes. I was doing everything as if it had eggshells. And I couldn't break the eggs, because it was very sketchy out there. And everybody was struggling with it.
So it sounds like they went out there when you weren't looking and stuck the old tire model on there. Because that's what that used to be like to me.
Yes.
Like that was, you couldn't drive it. It was so slippery.
Yep.
You could never, ever push the car. Like that's what the old tire model felt like.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this felt like. That's actually, now that I kind of think that and compare the two, yeah. It didn't feel like the car was in the track. It kind of felt like we were on top of it. and just kind of skating around,
Right.
which is not fun. So like I said, I qualified sixth, and most of the race was pretty much boring, except for the part that Trevor watched,
Yeah, I jumped
which
in and
was
watched a bit of the stream there when I happened to have a couple minutes myself, and then I looked down. It's like, hey, wait, Chad's streaming right now. I should check to see how he's doing. So I watched about 10, 15 minutes of his race.
yeah. So I guess he jinxed me. But
Well, it was the
uh,
only exciting thing that happened according to you. So
I
at least
yeah,
I
it
tuned in at the
was.
right time, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna tune in and watch for excitement, there you go. Um, but I got a pit road speeding penalty, which, and we even went back and watched it, or at least I did, right before we did the show, because in my mind afterwards, I was like, I do not remember speeding, because I was watching that green light, and I was like, there's no way that that green light changed, and if it did, it just went red for like, split second, if that, and which basically means you're going 46. And the speed limit there is 45. And so, right before the show started, I went back and watched that part of my stream because I was like, where did I speed? Because I was questioning, because I didn't remember seeing that be red for length of time or whatever. And when it gave me the black flag, it gave it to me as I exited pit road. So when it happened live in my mind, I thought, okay, apparently, I mean, when you're on the exit of pit road, you're trying to beat people out, you're trying to get spots and whatever. And I was like, but I didn't think I was, going that fast. And apparently, it black flagged me before I got to my pit stall because I watched the whole trip down pit road. I was at 44, 45, like for a split second, 46, a couple of different times, which I've done that a bunch and have never gotten black flag for it. And like all the way down through there, wasn't speeding, but then right before I got to my pit box, I went up to 47, which apparently is a no-no in the world of iRacing, because that is
The speed limit is 45, man. 47 is more than 45.
but in NASCAR they give you 5 miles to over.
Well,
So,
what they don't here.
but, but,
But
so anyways, that's the only time that I was like actually speeding. Everything else was either on the dot, a little below it, or 46. So I guess that little section, I guess I hit a timing line or something that triggered it all, and that got me a black flag. So that took me from like sixth or fifth or wherever I was, all the way back to 17th.
right now, do you remember? Now, do you remember what you said as soon as
Yes.
you pulled out after that? What did you
Yes.
say?
I said that I wasn't even going to show up next week.
You did. I remember. I'm sitting there watching. It's like, Chad. Like, well, that's about to ruin my race, but I'm not even going to show up at Homestead. I don't get a chance to do anything. It's a stupid eye at everything. It's like, man, you went downhill quick in that one, man.
Well, I was upset because I was like, all this stuff keeps happening to me, and then I got a pit road speeding penalty, which I never do. Oh, it's so rare when I get those. But yeah, I was pretty mad at that. But see, I had this discussion on the show. When I talk down to myself, I'm yelling at myself, and I'm having a conversation with me. You guys just need to ignore it.
Well,
So like,
you're a TV. See, you're a TV celebrity now. There is no more just talking to you. It's you are talking to the world, man.
but I'm talking to me, they can just hear it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I was being down on myself, but every time that I'm down on myself, I do better. I'm telling you guys. You just, I'm giving you guys living proof through these videos. When I talk down on myself, I start doing better. And
There's some positive affirmation stuff there. It's like, okay, I'm horrible. I'm the worst driver in the whole wide world. I can't do anything right. And now you get
victory
better.
lane.
Yeah. I don't, man,
But I'm serious.
I don't find that, I don't think that belongs in any psychiatry book, Here's
It
how to
works for
motivate your
me.
people. Talk down to yourself.
Every time that I start doing bad and I start yelling at myself, it's like this inner fire starts kicking in, and then I suddenly start driving better. Every time.
So that's my problem. I just start laughing. And, it's like, well,
You're just like, wow.
this is dumb. I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
And as I told Trevor, that pit road speeding penalty could have been a blessing in disguise, because if you watch the race for like 5 minutes after that, you'll see a huge four-car pileup that happened. I can't remember exactly what positions it was, but it was pretty close to where I would have been if I'd have come out without the pit road speeding penalty. So I could have been in that wreck. You never know. Might have been ahead of it. Might have been right in the middle of it. So you never know. But anyways, thanks to that wreck and just being able to pass a few more cars, I think. I don't even remember if I passed anybody in that race. But I ended up getting back up to where I was before the pit road speeding penalty, which was sixth. Now, this is the interesting thing. If you look at the race results, the guy that started on the pole won the race.
All right.
The guy that started second finished second. The guy that
This
finished
is not
third
very interesting so far.
finished third. Guy finished fourth. Fifth, sixth. The first six guys finished where they started,
So it was an F1 race then.
pretty much,
Okay.
with Ray Alfalo, who wins all the time, winning. So yeah, it pretty much was an F1 race. And there was no passing, so that makes it even more. And I ended up finishing sixth. So all was not lost, but it does set up a pretty interesting finale at Homestead next week, with the fact that I didn't add the math up, so I don't know if the champion has already been determined or not. I would like to say that Ray has probably already locked it up, but I don't know. But in adding up the other people's points, entering the Homestead race with the 2 drop weeks, which are not factored in on the points on the website right now, but they're going to be after Homestead. So I went in and, tried to set myself up for, what do I need to do? Do I need to defend? Do I need to attack? Or does it even matter? Either way. And basically, here's the scoop. I'm entering Homestead 5th in points,
All right.
1 point out of 4th, and 4 points out of 3rd. And I think I'm like 30 or 27 or something like that out of 2nd. So realistically, I'm not going to get 2nd, but that's okay. So I have a shot at getting 3rd. I have a really good shot at getting 4th. And I didn't totally do the math on this either, but I don't think, barring, some kind of catastrophe, that I can finish worse than 5th. So if I just go out there and kind of do a solid race, kind of like a top 15 or something, I should get 5th at the worst. So that accomplishes my goal that I told you guys before the chase started, top 5 in the points. And I have a shot at getting 4th or 3rd. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, that's if you show up. I mean, I heard that you weren't even going to bother showing, so that's.
You didn't watch the end of the stream.
Oh,
I said that I was gonna race.
well, yeah, because you raced back up to 6th, to 6th. If you had, been back in 17,
If I'd have finished
16th.
18th, it would have been It would have been pointless to show up next week.
Pointless. It's like a
That's
pun.
why I said pointless. So yeah, but I will say that I like the new Phoenix. This is a pretty cool track. I think it's a lot better than the old one, and I like the old one, but I just like this one better.
Yeah, I only raced it that first week when it first came out. I was horrible at the old Phoenix. I could never get that first turn right. So.
It's still a little tricky.
Well, it is, but
I find,
but now it's like 15 cars wide. So I mean, I've got to be able to find a line through there somehow. I mean,
I think turn 3 is a lot easier on this new version than on the last one. Like the last one, it wasn't that difficult, but you still kind of had to be precise in the line you hit in order to go through the entire turn. But this one, you can screw up the whole entry and still make it through the turn pretty well. So
yeah, that's what I remember that turn was like the number of times that I spun in the middle to exit on that turn throughout all the times I raced it was a lot. I mean, and if it was as loose as you said it was. then that would be bad. And you're not moving anymore in my video, so I don't know if you can hear me. Huh. Hi, Chad. You are very creepily staring into my soul. That can't be good. Oh, there it is. Internet connection problem. Apparently we have an issue. There is an issue, and we are now trying to call Chad back. So there goes Chad, and we don't have me. So, please stand by. Hi, Chad. Are you there?
I'm here. Apparently video doesn't like us anymore.
No, I cannot start the video, so try closing other programs. Well, so I now have the splash screen, so that's exciting for the video. The video is now going to be apparently that. So we have no video of me, we have no video of Chad. Oh well.
It works for me now. I can relax and make faces, and nobody's gonna see it.
Yeah, I make faces all the time. Well, what a show, what a show. Anyway, so I guess we shall finish this off with the splash screen for the rest of the week, but that's fine. So anyway,
That's okay.
so that was Phoenix. So looking forward to Monday night at Homestead Miami Speedway for the grand finale, where they will crown Mr. Ray Halfala as the champion. Mario Kart.
Soccer.
Is there nothing you can't do?
I don't know.
But
I haven't seen it yet.
anyway, so moving right along as we are almost done, as we are slightly shorter show this week because there's not that much to talk about.
We have two more topics.
Two more topics, and I'm just wondering, let's just stick with the iRacing. We'll finish off without. So, the car of the week is the super late model, which we did talk about when it first came out a little bit, but it's like the late model, but super. All right, so.
Wow.
Well, it's true. It's basically the same car with some more oomph to it, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does. So it does have 550 horsepower, which I believe the regular late model has like 320-ish, somewhere in there. So it's definitely got some more oomph to it. One of the things that I like about the super late model is that they allow you to run, and this is just a total random thing, but they allow you to run decals to kind of match up, sort of, with your favorite manufacturer. Now, they don't have the actual words like Ford or Toyota or Chevy.
Is it called Feared or and Toyota?
They do have, they do have the decals. So we all know what it means. So yeah, it's pretty neat. You can't do that on the regular late model. It's just a Chevy,
Right.
Monte Carlo SS. So I like that part about this car, but it's definitely probably one of the faster cars to hit the short track. A large part of that has to do with the horsepower and stuff, but Ford speed transmission. Yeah, makes sense. 4-speed transmission. And once again, iRacing giving us the exact technical specifications of every car. 2,800 pounds with driver and fuel in the car.
Well, how do they know how much I weigh?
I know. That's what I want to know. But apparently they know.
Although it's weird because if you actually look at the late model, it has the yeah, okay. So the late model has the Chevy symbol, like you mentioned, and the super late model just says super late model. I just found it amusing that they call the super late model constructor iRacing.com. Well, that's not.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really true. I guess it's their model. I mean, they went over to Junior's house and scanned his or something, didn't they?
No, they went to somebody else's house. I forget who it was. I remember that they, I think it was when Sean Siff was still with iRacing. He had gone to somebody's house, or somebody had one of these, and they had scanned it. But then and they released those images and some of the information like on the forums, and I think a bunch of people were like, that's not really a super late model. It was close, but it wasn't the quote real thing. And so they went back and they found somebody else's, and something tells me that they scanned two of these, but maybe I am remembering wrong. But I know that they went to someone else. It wasn't Junior, it was somebody else, and they scanned their super late model, and that's what we have on the sim.
Ah, and
But
yeah, reading the description of it, it does sound like a very interesting car when they actually describe it there because
yeah,
they mention that the super late model is a cross between a modified and a NASCAR nationwide car. And considering the huge amounts of downforce generated by its body and underbody, the super late model is capable of generating higher cornering speeds than a NASCAR Gen 6 Chevy, Ford, or Toyota. It's like, is that
which
really
I can see.
possible? I mean, but I
Well, yeah,
guess,
because it you don't have to slow down as much in this car. So I could see that.
hmm. But I mean, the general idea of it is it's your late model style of racing with an extra 30 miles an hour of speed and an extra whatever it is 300 horsepower, and it does sound wicked cool.
Now, one thing that I like, and this is, I always find these little dirty windshields, as we call them. But this car has a pretty large driver's side circle mirror, um, which, like as I mentioned a couple shows ago, I use that circle mirror, on a lot of the cars where it has it to kind of look at what's to the left of me in the stock cars. And this one is like massive. I mean, when you're sitting inside the cockpit of the super late model, it's pretty huge over there. So I like that about this car because I can definitely see who's on my inside.
Right.
Yeah, this is a car that I actually, I was talking earlier about season four, how I might jump into stuff. I would probably jump into this more so than the regular super late model, just because I have, a whole year's worth of experience in the old late model, and I call it the old as if nobody's using it anymore. But this car being the new late model, and one that I've not really raced yet, I would like to get out there and kind of mess around with it some and see. I have driven laps in it before, but get in an actual race and go racing with it because I bet it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. Excuse me. Like I did go and race it. Tried it when it first came onto the sim, but I didn't spend much time actually doing any racing per se. But I mean, and their schedule kind of gets kind of ugly too. I mean, Phoenix, sure, I bet you this would be a lot of fun. Gateway, like I mentioned, I thought that would be a great track for a late model, or I guess super late model wouldn't be too bad as well. So that'd actually be fun. So that's next week when I'm away, but I'll be home for some of that. But then they go to Lanier in South Boston, and the late model's hard enough to drive on those courses. For me, I understand a lot of people enjoy that style of racing, but for me, it is a huge challenge. So tack on an extra, 300 horsepower. That just sounds like a nightmare that I could never wake up from. So I probably won't be doing Lanier or South Boston. But then they head off to USA, so I'll definitely, I definitely be trying to, willing to give that a shot because it's one of my favorite tracks.
That's what I've heard.
So, anyway, that is the super late model. Unless there's anything else you wish to speak about it,
No,
the rear tread width is 78 inches. I mean, that's a
good to
stat.
know.
That's
Yeah,
those are numbers.
yeah, good numbers.
Oh yeah.
Good information.
But we will finish off this show with as we mentioned, something that we're going to be streaming out this weekend. Haven't got the exact timing, so of course watch for our Twitter feeds for when that's going to happen. But it's either going to be tomorrow evening or Saturday evening. I'm not sure which is going to work best for us, but we are going to play some basketball. We're going to be playing NBA 2K15 versus each other. We kicked ourselves in the like in the butt for not streaming when Chad was trying to teach me basketball because there was some, dare I say, comedy gold that happened during that evolution, and it is sad we did not capture it for prosperity's sake. But we're going to be playing each other. I'm laying down the rules now. I believe we have to both play our teams. Is probably the best way to do things. As I understand it, you are an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And of course, I by default have to be a Raptors fan because it's the only team in Canada, so I have to be a fan of them. So I'm saying Toronto versus Oklahoma. What do you think?
See, I'm just surprised you didn't make me pick the worst team in the league.
Well, they have to be the worst team in the league. It's Toronto actually beat them in real life like last night, wasn't it? So if you get beat by Canadians, well, I mean, yeah.
They are one of the worst teams without their two best players. I will give you that.
Oh, is that what's happening? Were they having injury issues?
Yes, they are.
I didn't actually watch the game. I was just kind of knew that they were playing. It was just kind of watching the score because
Trevor, suddenly I get a tweet on my phone. Alert. iRacing today. So, your favorite team's Oklahoma City, right, Chad? And then I had to look up what the heck he was talking about because I didn't know who Oklahoma City was playing. And then when I looked at who they were playing and saw that they played Toronto and saw that they lost, I was like, wow. So then I went and responded and said, "You've been an NBA fan for a week. You're not allowed to start trash talking."
And fan is a strong word. I actually taped. They played Miami on Sunday, Toronto that is, and I noticed it. So I noticed they were playing. They were like into the second quarter, and I taped the rest of that game. And then later on that evening, tried to watch it, and I watched some of it, and I never finished the game. I don't think I'm going to turn into a basketball fan. I'm giving it a shot. I've got the video games, so I'm trying to learn. I've actually tried to watch some real games. Yeah.
I'm just glad you know what pick and roll is now.
Well, I know what it is, and it's fun. I still can't execute it in the game. I understand what's supposed to happen, and I hit the button, and all the dude who's supposed to be there laying down the screen for me, I just run into him because he's in my way because I never know which way he's going to go, and then all I know is when I run into him, I know that his junk is covered, and I'm not going to hurt him. That's what I got out of that.
It's like, I mean, for those of you that don't know basketball, it's like the simplest, most basic basketball play. And this is why we needed to record that first game, because, oh my gosh, Trevor could not understand why that was a play.
Well, it didn't make sense. I mean, and the way you were explaining it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So it was.
I was explaining it the way it worked.
I know, and it wasn't until I looked later on YouTube videos and I watched, some people. It's like, okay, well, and I think it was like the one that made the most sense was some high school coach, like had created a video series for his team like 5 years ago or something. And it's like, oh, I get it. Because in stop motion, it's like, okay, here's what happened is you you do this, and then this guy walks up here, da-dung, stop. It's like, okay, he's doing that because that, and then, that's going to stop that guy from moving there, and then you roll around, and then he has an open lane to the thing, and you pass to him, and you score. It's like, oh, okay. So if I get the video game to pause every time I hit that button so that I can go, okay, well, he's obviously going to roll over that way. But then he could pitch, he could roll, I don't know. There's a difference. I think you're supposed to stick your hand out and tell the dude which direction you want him to go. Okay, I may not fully understand it. I know he's getting in the way of the other guy because the other guy can't run him over. That's what I get out of it. Yeah. So it opens up a lane to the paint, so you can put the biscuit in the basket. Oh,
the probably my most favorite part about that stream. And this is another reason why we should have recorded it. Trevor was like, "I know you can't stand in the paint for 3 seconds." And I was like, wow, I'm impressed. Because, like, there's hardly anybody that ever understands that rule. Like, if they're not a basketball fan and suddenly they're trying to understand it, everybody's like, "Can't stand down there for 3 seconds? Why? That's dumb." And like that's the rule that I always have to explain. And like that was the one rule that you automatically knew. And I was like, I'm impressed, dude.
Yeah, and I knew, and then then violated it several times during our practice, and then didn't realize that the defensive team wasn't allowed to do it either. I thought it was just
Yeah.
the offensive guys weren't allowed
Yeah,
in
see, you
there.
were thinking college there.
Oh,
College defense can stand there all day long, but not in the NBA.
I see. And then there's rule. I mean, I when I was watching the game on TV, I'm watching. It's like, okay, now they're going here. Okay, and the foul, and I'm looking. It's like I didn't see anything happen. That guy tried to
Well,
put the ball in the net, and then the whistle blew, and there's a foul. Nobody fell over. Nobody got their eye poked out. Nobody got checked. It's like, all right, no, it's a foul. It's like,
but he got checked.
what was a foul? Or
See, there's two different things that can be a foul. You can either get hit on the hand or the arm, or the second part that a lot of fans miss is the player can, like the defender, will, with some part of his body, he will make contact with the other person's body, like at the waist is usually where it happens. And nobody ever sees that, and that's why the fans always end up booing. But that's what the refs call a lot of times, and that's different from like hockey where you just run up and run somebody over like a dump truck. But it that is kind of where your fouls come in, is either on the arm, the hand, or with the body somewhere.
see, that's what I don't get. See, I mean, you are on offense. You have the ball. You're driving towards the net. The people's job on defense is to stop you from doing that. Yet they're not allowed to get in your way. They're not allowed to touch your hands. They're not allowed. Like, well, then, and it's like, oh well, you can't do that because that's goaltending. It's like, how is that a bad thing? That shouldn't you be trying to stop him? It's like, oh well, he reached his hand up and he knocked the ball away. It's like, yay?
But it's only when the ball's coming back down that it's goaltending.
I, Still, you're still trying to stop it from going in the basket, and if you have a hand in the right place and you whack it,
But
that's a good thing.
But they do it to be fair.
What do you mean fair?
You gotta score. It's not like hockey where you only get like 3 goals. You gotta keep scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring.
Man, I don't think I'm ever going to get this game. Like
Probably not.
I'm never going to
But
understand it.
all of what we just did is why you should tune in and watch. Even if you don't watch live, watch the archive, because it's going to be hilarious.
Well, it's probably going to be sad and pathetic because I'm going to get beaten because I don't understand what's happening. I mean, I've got the game controls down. Like I know how to pass and I know how to, do all that stuff. So I mean, we're good there, but yeah, it's going to be a
The sad
blowout.
part, in the first game, it was a blowout, but I wasn't even really trying.
Well, we weren't. I mean, I wasn't even really trying. I'd stop there with the ball. Well, as you know, because I got several violations. Like, oh, by the way, you're supposed to pass the ball in before this many seconds. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, well, you're supposed
Trevor's
to get.
standing on the out of bounds, like, you only have 5 seconds to throw that ball in, right? Beep. Apparently not.
Oh, you have this many seconds to get it across the center line. Didn't know that. Yeah, I'm just sitting there talking to Chad. It's like, okay, so when I do that, all right, well, I guess you have the ball now, so I'll ask later when I get it back.
Well, one time I was courteous, and Trevor's controller quit working, and while that happened, he had the ball, and the referee flagged him or whatever, and it gave it to me, so I kindly, and out of the kindness of my heart, stepped out of bounds and gave it back to him.
Yeah. Also, my controller didn't work and it wouldn't resync, so then I was trying to figure out how to play the game with the keyboard. And if you ever try to play a sport game with a keyboard, don't play a sport game with a keyboard.
Do not try this at home.
It's like, oh, I wonder what button this is, and I chuck it to the complete other side of the of the court. It's like, I don't know what button that was, but let's not hit that again.
Yeah.
That's the guy in the fifth row who was heckling you, hit his Coke out of his hand button.
Yeah. That's a good button. So yes, Oklahoma City at Toronto. I'll let Trevor be the home team.
Woo!
Get the Canadian crowd going.
And I will find the most ridiculous jersey that have my options that I can wear.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we're gonna be wearing jerseys, I'll get my Oklahoma City stuff out.
No, I didn't mean
And
and me. I meant for the team. I don't have a Raptors jersey.
oh, well, Oklahoma City doesn't have any ridiculous jerseys. They just have like Oklahoma City, Thunder, Thunder, and then Seattle stuff
Well,
when they used to be in Seattle.
we got the retro ones. I mean, we've
Yeah,
got
I
the
know.
the big old purple with the big dinosaur on the front. I guess I could wear my Toronto Maple Leafs jersey because I have a hockey jersey, so I'll wear that. I'll wear my Maple Leafs jersey. It's almost the same. Yeah.
Yeah. But on the stream, I'm going to stream it. Trevor will host it, and then we're going to have kind of like what we do with the radio show, except for when it crashes, like right now. Is we're going to have both of our webcams up there, but they'll be smaller, obviously. Won't take up the whole screen, and then you'll be able to see the game and see our lovely reactions because I'm sure they'll be priceless.
See now, what we need to do is we need to get an NHL game, and then play hockey, and then we'll see who doesn't understand what's going on.
Actually, you might be surprised. My cousin is pretty big on hockey, and when I was out there last summer, we played a lot of NHL 13, and I got pretty good. I started scoring some goals. I knew the one thing that I struggled with was being offsides, but I eventually learned what you're not supposed to do, and I kind of stopped not going offsides all the time. I figured it out. At first, I was struggling with that because I was like, "Hey, look, I'm wide open," and it's like, "Yeah, but you're way offside, so it doesn't matter." But I started learning it, and I know some of the hockey rules. So I do
see.
better than you might give me credit for, but you'd still whip my butt.
All right, fine. If that okay, so you know that and all. Okay, I don't know Battlefield. I bet you I could beat you in that.
Probably.
There's got to be something I'm better at you then, man. Because
You're better at talking than me.
I don't know. I mean, have you heard me pronounce people's names and track names? Yeah.
Have you heard me?
But anyway, that will be either tomorrow evening or Saturday evening, depending on what schedules line up. And
Well, I'm free both nights, so it's up to you.
yeah, and assuming everything goes well, my oldest is supposed to be having a sleepover tomorrow evening, so I'll just have the youngest one, who goes to bed at a much earlier time than my oldest, so that will allow it. So if everything lines up, then it's going to be tomorrow night, I'm going to say. So it'll probably be somewhere in the vicinity of 10:30 Eastern. It'll be about as early as I can get set up to do that. So look for our Twitter feeds around that time, and we'll point you at the stream if we are a go for tomorrow evening.
Yep. And it'll be fun.
It'll be fun. I mean, yeah. It's all in good fun, even though
Yep.
I'll be embarrassed and crying in the corner by the end of it.
Yeah. That's okay.
I'll try to put the biscuit in the basket. I don't
Biscuit ball.
Biscuit ball. But anyway, that on that non-racing related note, we shall end this evening, as we do every evening, by saying that will about do it for this week. A big thanks to all of you out there for listening and sort of watching. Apologies for the video issues, but, well, not much we can do about that. Skype died on me. So, and we couldn't get the video back, and rather than mess around with it, we just figured it would just be easier to finish off the show and, get her done. Get her done! Remember, the show is available for download on iTunes and Zune under the podcast section, where we would really appreciate a review to help us get the word out if you haven't done so already, or create several fake accounts and make more. The show is also available on YouTube and Twitch at Ratface Productions, and mirrored over on White Knight Productions as well. That's Chad and my own YouTube and Twitch channels. You can check out the website for information, archives, links, and the polls you mentioned. Of course, we have a new poll this month because it's a new month, so make sure you head over there and vote. I have not voted in that one yet because, while not as tough as some of our previous ones, I don't actually know the answer to that. I think I know the answer, but I want to think about it first. So head over there to see what that's all about, and you can check that out, of course, at iRacingTodayRadio.com. You can like the show on Facebook, if you like to like things on Facebook. Liking by searching for the iRacing Today radio show, and, of course, follow us on Twitter at iRacing Today for myself, and at It's Chadillac for Mr. Chad. And of course, when you follow us on Twitch, you also get to see Twitter. You get to see all kinds of other things going on, such as when we're streaming other things. So make sure you check over there, and you get to watch me tweet pictures of polar bears pushing each other into the water and saying Harvey King.
Please email any questions, comments, and poll suggestions that you may have to feedback@iRacingTodayRadio.com. And we're still waiting on some of those pre-race rituals.
Yes, please do.
Yes. And of course, feel free to add myself and Trevor as friends on the iRacing.com members website so that you can race with us if we happen to be online doing random stuff like we talked about. But if you're not a member of iRacing and you're going to join, please refer either Trevor or myself in the referral box when you sign up by entering either ratface@gmail.com with 2 T's, that is for Mr. Cameron, or for myself, you can enter iRacingLegend@gmail.com, and we get a nice, awesome, lovely prize. But
who doesn't like prizes?
For real. But until next week, ladies and gentlemen, remember that Team Chad is better than Team Trevor at basketball, and the race is rarely won in the first turn.
But it is often lost there. And also remember, attempted to fix the brake poke through with damage issues. Good night, everybody, and we will talk to you again next week.